everybody. My name is Dustin. I am joined with Josh. Like always, we have plenty of announcements to share with you guys. Um, it's been an exciting time. We've been busy, hard at work with a lot of these key points we're going to share with everybody. But first, Josh, I would like for you to give an update on Certek. I know that's the number one question a lot of people have been asking is, when we're going to launch our token and all the questions around, the trading protocols and everything like that. So if you could, Josh, welcome. Could you share us a little bit on the Certek audit?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, welcome everyone to the AMA. I know it's been a little while since we had our last one. We've been super busy. Just with everything that happened in this market, it doesn't really affect us. It's just another excuse to just get our heads down and continue building, right? So, all good on our end. The Certik audit obviously came back last week, as everyone knows. We've currently we had 16 fixes that we needed to make. Now that might sound like a lot, but I mean it can be an insignificant thing such as like it can be like the most minute of things really that you wouldn't really think about, but the whole point of using Certik was so that we had that really kind of deep dive into our contract, and we want to make it as safe as possible moving forward, because we've all seen hacks, exploits, you name it, and it's happened in crypto, and it's especially in the past few months we've seen a lot of security flaws and people really not taking that security seriously, and what that ends up doing is that means that the investors lose money. And for everything that we're building, it's really important that we have a really strong foundation to build on. The last thing we want to do is build build it all and it falls down like a house of cards because there is a problem with the base foundations of our contract, right? So this was obviously our number one priority. We paid an extortionate amount of money to Certik for it. However, we managed to get that audit done for both of our projects. So although it was expensive, we took advantage of the situation of the fact that we have two projects that we want to run the same DAO on. So it was good in that sense because both projects could pull their resources into the funding of it. So it's not money that was directly 100% taken from Sacred Tails or 100% taken from Instinct. It was a combination, and I think that is one of the benefits that we do have of having these multiple projects going. Now 12 out of the 16 issues have been completely fixed already. We have developers working over the weekend on it, right this second and into tomorrow as well. We anticipate that the completion on our side will be done Monday, end of day. After that's done, obviously all gets sent through to Certik and the engineers review all the changes that we make, and at the end of the day, a Certik stamp of approval is a very big thing, and they take that very seriously as well. So when that's all settled and cleared, and hopefully after we send these changes on Monday, within a couple of days, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, they'll come back to us and say, you know what, this is fine, or maybe just do these final tweaks and then you're ready to go. And that's not a concern to me at all. I would rather have an audit come back and it has issues rather than not, because in this space, it's for me like it's a positive when people find these problems before we've launched. It's another thing if we have the contract already live and that becomes an issue. So this is why we did stall on the relaunch, and we wanted to make sure that holders investments are safe and secure. And another thing to add as well is some of the caliber of investors that of course we want to bring to the project and attract to us simply would not look at a project until they have these kind of sufficient audits run on them. So we might not be seeing any momentum right this second, but if you think when we start to do our marketing and we show that that Certik badge of authority, it's going to in my opinion, Certik are the number one audit firm in the entire industry. There are
Absolutely.
a few that are similar, very kind of close to them in that respect, but I
Yeah,
mean, it's yeah, they're renowned in this industry. So the very best for the very best projects, and that's our mentality.
exactly.
That was what we cleared. That was what we set out to do on the white paper, and we've executed all of these executables as we have said that we were going to do. So yeah, really excited on that, and it'll be a really good day when we can get the V2 launched and yeah, start to enjoy the benefits of our DAO token.
Exactly. Yeah, no, and we're going to get into another thing later on in this AMA on why a Certec audit is so important. Um, so I'm excited. I know everybody has been chomping at the bit to buy more. It's when you have trading halted, obviously that can generate some sentiment. But shout out to the community for holding strong and being so supportive. Just looking at the chat and seeing you guys in there wanting to buy more, wanting to just get excited about what we're bringing to the table. Every Shinsei Saturday, every post we do, you guys are behind it. You guys are getting out and shilling it. And we got a project in its early infancy like this. You're going to have your roadblocks, and it's really how you overcome those. And going about the Certec audit was not cheap in the budget by any means. I know Josh, I don't know if he wants to tell you about how much that actually cost our project, but in the long run, it's an investment in ourselves, it's an investment in you guys, because what I'm about to share a little bit later on in one of these announcements, you're going to understand why it's so important. So thank you, Josh. I think everybody's going to be excited for the release. And I know CMC, as you guys know, untracked our token. That was expected. That's what happens when you have low
Completely normal.
volumes.
Completely normal.
Once the contract is sent to CMC, the new contract, everything is going to resume as normal. The prices are going to go back into trust and MetaMask and everything like that. So you guys don't have to worry about price tracking. Those are things that we just expected. I actually expected that to happen a lot sooner than it did. Them taking the chart down. So that's not a big deal. I know I got a few messages from a few close friends of mine that aren't really connected into Telegram that said, "Hey, what's going on?" And we just reassure everybody that it's soon. It's going to happen very soon. So again, thank you guys. We'll give you guys all the updates from Certec when we hear them. We're going to do our resubmission on Monday. And if there's anything else, it shouldn't be, everything, all the functions, 16 functions, had errors. 12 of them have been corrected already. So we're anticipating next week to be a very big week for us. And one thing I want to kind of jump into the next point, guys. I know we're going right from Certec to a different topic. Last week, we had an AMA with Obsidian Council, who is it's a very large Discord guild, and Josh performed extremely well in it. Everybody was so excited to hear on what we're building. We're really building this guild partnership program. It's been an idea that we've had, and now we're starting to approach these guilds, and they're eating it up. Just in general, a lot of the games that some of these guilds were playing, either they're the economy isn't providing them enough return for them to want to keep playing. So they're actively seeking new opportunities. So what we really bring to this guild partnership program is going to be huge for our in-game economy. It's going to bring players and drive players into the ecosystem. And that's really what it's all about. We're building a game and we need players. So I'm going to kind of highlight some of the keys to this guild partnership program is what we're calling it now. The wording may change. We had obviously the meeting with Obsidian. We're also working with Astra. I'm working on the back end with them, trying to set up some meetings with their council as well, because a lot of these guilds, it's different than what you kind of think of in a Discord guild, like for a certain title you play on Xbox, right? So these guilds really protect their holders extremely well. So you got to go through, councils, and you got to, pitch them, and then they bring it to their community. So we already have an AMA lined up for the NFT release with Obsidian, and we're going to continue to push that across. So we're going to be very selective in the guilds we choose. Obviously, we're not going to limit to any guilds that want to participate in this program. So what we're going to offer these guilds, we're going to offer dedicated land plots for these guilds. So they're going to be able to join in their own little community, rally the troops. They're going to be able to do their own battles amongst each other, preparations, and we're also going to offer in-game assets to these different guilds. So what that means is, so like avatar clothing, maybe the avatar has a t-shirt with the guild's logo on it. They're going to have guild flags. They're going to be able to fly. And, we really want to bring the competitive nature and esports nature to our game. And this is the first step of really like kind of getting a massive exposure. So we're also going to have guild tournaments. So guild versus guild. And already that's happening in some different ecosystems, and it's very competitive. And trust me, guilds hate other guilds. So that excites me because it just drives a competitive nature to the gameplay itself. And speaking of which, the gameplay from Timba Games has been coming along very nicely. Josh, if you can chime in, if you want to talk about this guild partnership program, if there's anything you want to add, and then we can kind of get into some game development updates.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you covered it well with the kind of affiliate marketing strategies that we're going for. I know we haven't quite got into the affiliate side of things yet, which I know you're going to maybe kind of talk a little bit more about later. But one thing I really wanted to kind of talk about on the guild front is I kind of want to set a scene for like investors of what they can kind of expect, moving forward. And what the set out plans are is that we will be selling guild housing that hopefully is live in the actual town. So it's not necessarily a separate land plot per se. You will be able to hopefully, like walk through the doors of your guild housing, and I want you to imagine it kind of like, I don't know if you remember like Harry Potter, Goblet of Fire, when they go to the Quidditch World Cup and they go in the tent and it's just massive in the tent, right? This is the kind of like vibe that we're going for. So we want it to be like completely customizable for people. We want it to be a big grand space where guilds can, pool funds together to upgrade their assets, upgrade shrines, upgrade, their breeding capabilities. There is so much potential that we want to tap into in terms of that. And I mean, I know there are other games out there that maybe have something similar to this in some degree, but these ideas that are coming from us have not come from any other game. They have come, they're completely original to us. So how I imagine it and how I want it to be is that I want it to get to a point where not only do we have, weekly, monthly, and annual tournaments for regular players, working their way up the leaderboards, qualifying for these tournaments, etc. What I actually want is to really kind of pit the guilds against each other, because at the end of the day, that's what they love. They really do. I mean, the competitiveness has always been there, of course, and yes, they dislike each other in a competitive nature, but this is the whole kind of fun of it. And how I imagine it is that there's a huge guild tournament coming up in like a couple of hours. All of the guild members are inside their guild houses. You've got the guild leaders, like they're communicating, they're strategizing, and they're all there, they're all riled up, they're all ready to go, and they all go to the stadium together, and they battle together, and there'll be various different incredible prizes for these guilds as well. And when this kind of thing starts to kick off and people start talking about their experience of their tournament they've had, or I really don't think that kind of experience exists really truly yet. So it will be really nice to be innovative on that kind of forefront, and really kind of bring in the really maximize the capabilities of these guilds. So it's something that super exciting for me, that the just the mention of guilds. And it's not necessarily finding the investments, or the whole kind of point of this is that when you bring in 1, 2, or 3, or 4 guilds, and they have these benefits and they're having these rewards, most likely what you'll find is they're probably in other guilds as well, some people, or word of mouth spreads, and other guilds want to get involved, and at that point what's going to happen is the guilds are going to start contacting us. And that's the real kind of priority, is efficient marketing that self-sustains. And we could spend $5,000 on banner ads, and they'll run for a week maybe, and we might see some good traction from that. But there's a possibility that the return on the investment in terms of the $5,000 you won't get back, which isn't sustainable. And this is obviously what we've been pushing since the very start. I know that I give Dustin a heart attack all the time in terms of budget allocations of marketing. You have to really kind of think outside the box in terms of
Exactly.
that kind of thing. So I've just seen a comment come in that I'm going to answer actually, because I like the question. Hi Wiz, can we update our website to more attractive, not just a static site? Now we're going to get into that a little bit later. So we have finally finished all of the design on Hoardable. Now what I mean by the design, obviously the development's still happening, but there are many different pages of many different functions. For example, you need a page just to connect your MetaMask wallet. We need all of that template in there, etc. So it's all the nitty gritty stuff. So that is all been completed now. Now all of the allocation of the team that were working on Hoardable are now moving over onto the Sacred Tails website, the version 2. So we're going to start seeing some incredible updates on the website. It's going to be completely redone. Now, the way I look at Sacred Tails website at the moment, I think it was sufficient for a pre-sale. But now we need to really step up our game, and we were waiting for the content, we were waiting for the gameplay. We are working on integrating this new website in with the actual UI of the game as well, so it will kind of feel like an extension of the game, the website. So I wanted to jump on that question because why not, right? So I'm just going to have a quick kind of glance over the development at the moment. So for the past week on Sacred Tails, we have been working on implementing the servers. So the servers are now officially live. We can now log in with each other and perform all the tests that we need, etc. That's really exciting. You've seen some of the new shaders for the Shinsei as well, which are looking incredible, to be honest. I think the graphics on them are stunning. I really think they've done an amazing job. I think they've really kind of captivated the kind of theme and environment that we want with Sacred Tails. So we're focusing on that. We're focusing on the PvP battle elements. So we're currently working on the balancing of the different elements. So we're implementing in super effectiveness, reduced effectiveness, time delay moves. For example, the best way to kind of spit it out to you would be Solar Beam on a Venusaur, for example. You have to wait a turn to charge it up, and then it's a super powerful move, right? So this is kind of the different dynamics of the depth of the moves that we have in game. There are some quick moves, there are some more powerful moves that take longer. It's just that kind of that level of detail that we know and love, that we probably take for granted in some ways in games, but it's really important to get that in there. We're currently working on game economy updates. So we've got the way that we are structuring it is we are moving away from the pay to earn element completely, and that's not to say that you can't play to earn in the game. That is a possibility, but it's not in the sense that a lot of these games, they are pretty much turned into miners. I know a lot of people that have played it, and they've actually they've even created bots to play for them, and unfortunately that's a massive problem in the play to earn industry, is that people just either siphon out to countries that have a struggling economy, and to them it's worth their time. And whilst there are definitely benefits to that, where they are able to bring in more money for their families and things like that, I mean, that isn't something that you should base your economy around. That isn't something that you should build your game around. I mentioned kind of Axie as an example of why that doesn't work. Now, it's always been our priority with Sacred Tails that it's more than a play to earn game. I hate that term, I really do, because it really takes away from the fact of what a game should be. And we've grown up and we've lost hours, thousands of hours, I'm sure, all of us, on games that we've loved, and we don't expect a reward from them. We just want to play them. We just want to escape into that and forget the real world for a minute, or whatever. We've all got stuff going on, and this is a way for us to blow off some steam or relax, or it's always been our priority to make sure that let me rephrase that. The kind of main motto that I go around when we develop Sacred Tails is, if you completely removed the play to earn economy, would it still be worth playing? And I think that's a really important kind of mentality to have. And
Hmm.
I don't think that many or any projects that I know, truly kind of live up to that philosophy. And I think, you can see with everything that we do in our transparency, the way we are, you know, working on all of these different things and all these different angles and marketing strategies and economy strategies, etc. This is our philosophy, and it's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than an economy. It's got to be something that can truly stand up to the regular games that you're playing online or whatever. And that's
Hmm.
it's just not an excuse. Oh, it's a play to earn game, so it doesn't matter. It's pretty good for a play to earn game. Like, what does that actually mean? It's just
Right.
settling for nothing. And I say, completely scrap that thought process. It needs to be so much more.
Yeah.
So yeah, and obviously we've got things like the mini games coming in as well. We're working on a fishing mini game. There'll be multiple other different kinds of little fun games that people can play against other people. You can wager against other people as well if that's something you want. You can play for free. You can play for the elo to qualify for certain tournaments, which obviously will yield really high kind of prize pools as well. So it's not just anyone can join. You've got to work a little bit to get into these tournaments. It's not just going to be offered to you for free. And don't get me wrong, there will be tournaments with lower requirements, of course, but
Mm.
it's in this world, the saying, nothing in this world is for free, right? And I don't know if that translates well to what I'm saying. I think I've kind of used a wrong example there, but it's something to us that's really exciting because not just the battle elements, but the mini games. They can be really good ways of earning. They can also, you can also have a gamble there. You can make money through that with luck. So if you are inclined to have a little gamble here and there, then I feel like this is a nicer way to do it. And you remove the house edge, you're playing against other people, and that to me is fun. And obviously that's not our main focus, is the wager battles, of course not, but it's a nice addition in my opinion, and I think it will go down really well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we know there's a few fishermen out there in our community that enjoy Discord fishing, so you're really going to love Sacred Tails fishing when it's available. And Josh, I really think you hit it on the head. Um, you don't want to focus on just play to earn. Uh, and obviously, like you said, there's going to be plenty of ways to earn in game, but there's going to be two types of players, right? You're going to get the competitive guy that wants just to earn a living playing Sacred Tales, and we're not going to stop that from happening. But there's also going to be the guy that wants to come in casually, and he's got a job, 9 to 5. He's probably got kids, and it's probably intimidating for a lot of these people to jump into a game like Axie Infinity that have not experienced like how the game works, and then they get in and they're confused and it doesn't look good to them. But they're and then all of a sudden they're just getting hammered, and we don't want that. We want to be able to bring people in and enjoy the game itself. You're going to be able to have those lower tier battles with players that are similar to your rank or your style. So we're not going to limit somebody we're not just going to get them pushed out of the game if they want to come in, later during development stages, and I think building, Josh just nailed it. You got to build the game first. That's fun to play. And the in-game economy itself is something that's a structure, but that's not a focal point. So no, I appreciate that you coming out and saying it the way you did, because that probably, gives a lot of people relief that either they can't afford a ton of assets to be able to come in and be ultra competitive. I mean, the balancing itself is going to be, very, 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 well across the board. So I'm not too worried about that. But just being able to get somebody in the game, and then wants to maybe just casually roam around, have a couple battles with some friends, hit some mini games, and just kind of explore the world of Sacred Tales. That's ideally what we want. So thank you so much for that. And I'm in the future, we're going to be also sharing more updates on in-game economy. Josh has bounced tons of ideas that are absolutely groundbreaking in my opinion. So in the future, we're going to be sharing those updates. Josh, is there anything else that you want to add as far as like game development, or did we miss anything there?
Um, Oh, right, yeah. So, well, just a couple of things to add on to that in terms of the environment and what we are currently working on. So, you guys have seen some previews of like the temple, and you've seen like a very faint trailer of the arena.
Hmm.
It's going to be incredible. We've got a dojo that's going up live as well in the next update. I think just the amazing thing about it is the potential for growth. Like obviously people can see the amount of hours that we've put into the environment, and we take that very seriously. It's really given me a vibe of old school Fable, like Fable 2, which was an incredible game in my opinion. Just for like that, just that feeling of being immersed in that world. It's really important for us, by having these live servers, by having this MMO kind of style, that, we really do have an attractive world for people to want to spend time in, to want to come in and forget about, their job or whatever you want to do. Maybe you've had a bad day at work and you just jump in and chat with friends, play with friends, have some battles and forget about it for a couple of hours. This is the kind of thing that we want. And the real main problem that game designers or developers and studios even have is keeping the player rate return rate up, because it's one thing bringing in players, but it's another thing that keeping players interested and active in the game. That is probably the most important thing, rather than finding new players. And unfortunately, a lot of the time the main focus goes on bringing in new players and not caring about the current player base. All of these things, all of these mentalities, and these mentalities have come, from our team, have come from our literal love and passion of playing games. We've played such a huge variety of different MMOs, all sorts, dating back to the 90s. And, I really feel this is a labor of love in terms of everything that we, idolize and love in the history of our gaming lives. And I think it's only gonna grow. There's more towns that we can add. There are, there's so much more dynamics that we can explore with Sacred Tails. And I think that's the exciting thing about it, is there's no real ceiling to how high we can go. And of course it takes hard work and dedication, and there's going to be good times and there's going to be bad times. And the main thing here is that we're all a family together here. And regardless of market conditions, or if there is an issue like a delay of a week on something or whatever, we have such a strong community here that everyone really seems like they really care about our project. And in terms of our marketing strategies, which I know you'll jump into in a little bit, after this, I think that shows and reflects in the way that we are strategizing our marketing. We're really trying to find people that really care. We could go to someone like Travlads and we could pay 5,000 or whatever for an AMA with them, but then what kind of investors are we bringing in for that? Are they people that really care about the game? Are they people that are going to play the game? Are they going to invest and day trade us? Obviously that stuff is fine for volume, but that's really not what it takes
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
build a successful game. You need people such as the 26 people that we've got in our chat right now that care and want to know every single step of the way, in terms of where we are at and where we're going. And this is what it's built on. And you see some of these meme coins that have gone on like, for example, Shiba, that's gone into like the hundreds of millions market caps. That happened because they had such a strong foundation, such a strong community. Even with no real product, if you've got a strong community, you can go to these levels. And if you pair that with actual utility, with an actual game, with developers that actually care about their investors, I feel like that's a combination of fireworks, to be honest. And I feel like we're very close to setting them off.
Absolutely. That's important to kind of take in, that, marketing in the space has drastically changed, just like the market itself. Um, I think, last year we seen a lot of meme coins boom in BSC, and guys like Travlad and the Crypto Messiah, and that was always the hot thing to do. Well, all those projects that utilize those, that got those big pumps, they're not here making AMAs today.
Mm.
There's a certain point where you have to do some of those marketing objectives when you're initially launching the game to get your chart off the ground. But long term, we knew that the vision was going to change, and the space is evolving so much. And I think we're going to see a separation from blockchain games to a lot of your standard market, your meme coins or your payment utilities, because there's so many different payment utilities, and they all, gas fees, and you have all these blockchains that have low gas fees, instant transactions. You're going to run into a point where there's not a lot of innovation left. um, so now you're starting to see a lot of these venture capitalist firms that are opening a lot of game sector funds and blockchain game funds, and they're doing that for a reason, because they understand that the market is transitioning that way. You're seeing a lot of AAA titles now, starting a blockchain game or a project. um, I have a list of different ones that are coming to market. So essentially, we have excellent timing, and I think when we were building what we're building last year and into the last year into this year, I think we're way ahead of the curve, because there's blockchain games are so far behind where they should be, honestly. And I think in 2-3 years you're going to see a lot of nice games coming out that are enjoyable, that aren't just going to be focused on play to earn. They're going to be actually people jumping in the game and enjoying playing it, and that's what the industry is lacking. So I think we're going to be one of the first ones to get into market that are going to accomplish what we vision, what we see. And it'll kind of bring me into some of these key points that I'm going to talk about, because I'm going to bring you these marketing updates. And a lot of these keys are ones that I told you that are the biggest announcements today, because in my opinion, this stuff is going to be groundbreaking for us. It's going to be the long term uh, evolution. It's going to attend to our evolution of our game. Um, but first, I would like to introduce. We did add an addition to our team on the marketing side, and that's something that we're very cautious with doing, just because we need people that think like us, that have the same mentality. When I'm talking to a lot of these marketing guys that pitch me, their main focus is they just want obviously they want money, but they're going to steer us in a direction that is more tailored to like what the meme coins did last year. And I'm not saying that some of the marketing strategies that we utilize are going to go away, but essentially, this individual is going to help us accomplish what we do, because he sees the same vision we do. His name is Ted. And I'll just really quickly, I'm not going to share a whole lot of, because he has a list of accomplishments and what he's worked with. I will say he's based in Thailand. He does have a master's in marketing. Crypto has been his life for a long time, and he's currently working with a blockchain venture capital firm. He's in advisory and management consulting. Ted has worked with some of the biggest industry projects to drive massive revenue growth and customer retainership, such as I will say a couple projects, which I never really like to do, but Ted has worked with them. And I think it's important that we share some of the projects that he's had success with, which is Rev Racing, the Sandbox, XYO. Those are just to name a few. And he's currently on the advisory board of a few undisclosed blockchain companies and a group CMO of Crosswise Labs and venture building firm that developed the protocol Crosswise Dex. Ted is a very intelligent individual. He has a clear understanding of what the future is as far as branding a game like Sacred Tails, and I felt like it was a perfect fit for us. And me and him have been working on a strategy, for this upcoming DAO relaunch and the NFT sales, which we're going to get into a little bit later. But yeah, so thank you, Ted. I don't know if you're listening, but it is. I know the community is going to welcome you with open arms, and you have already set us up with the Obsidian Guild. where we did our AMA with them. So he really has an in with a lot of different organizations. Um, there is a live crypto convention in Detroit, which is about 2.5 hours from me that I'm going to be attending. I'm working with them so I could speak for Sacred Tails, Hoardable, and Instinct. So, be on the alert for some updates on that. But he just has so many plugs in the industry that are so crucial to our ongoing success. So, let's get into some marketing updates. We have the guild partnership program, which I talked about before. So we are going to be doing AMAs across different guilds, different investment groups on Discord. We're going to heavily focus on that leading up to the NFT release, because I think that is just a great avenue for us to, promote a lot of these groups. They love NFTs. They love, blockchain games. So it's just a perfect avenue for us. I have been working with playtoearn.net's senior writer. So we are going to be putting together some different PR pieces. They're going to get then blasted on Discord, which that goes to like 45,000 users. So that is the playtoearn.net is a company that has really came up in the last few months, and we're also going to be working on some promotions and campaigns with them as well. So that's very exciting. Really nice people over there. Right now we have a game trailer that's in development, which is for me huge announcement, because that's something that I've wanted to have in my hands for a very long time. Obviously we have some game trailer clips and different things that we've got from just gameplay in the alpha itself. But Timba Games is working on its game trailer right now. We should have an update in about a week. Um, Obviously, those are things that take some time, so I don't want to put any certain time frame on when I'm going to have it in my hands. But that is just going to be massive for our marketing movement moving forward. I think a game trailer really needs to just grab that outside person and bring them into what we're seeing and what we vision. So you guys get excited right now when you see some clips of Shinsei battling, but wait until you see an actual cinematic trailer. And we're going to go to market with that hard. I'm going to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to see what we have to offer. Um, so, Josh, is there anything that you want to add to that I've came across so far? I mean, I still have like 4 or 5 different things I want to cover in marketing, but
I think you summed it up very well. I think the real kind of exciting thing is the fact that we really haven't done any marketing yet, and for some reason
mhm,
I find that really exciting because I see how stable we are already. I see the hold accounts, increasing. I see, there's so much kind of there's so much going on. There are people really stepping up and taking it onto themselves to, help push out Sacred Tails, and I think that shows like the care that and passion that the community have, and that's an amazing thing to see. So, thank you for all that hard work that we've been doing, and I know that you will be
mhm.
doing in the future for us. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you should continue, mate. I think you're nailing
Or
it, to be
continue
honest.
on. And yes, I mean, we have to build the game, we have to manage our resource and our budgeting very, very wisely. Obviously, you guys are here. You can, let us know in the comments how you heard about us or where you seen us originally. But really, we got to focus on building that game, because at the end of the day, you make a good game, it's going to market itself. We're going to do everything in our power to take these specific angles and getting it in front of different gaming guilds, which essentially I think that's one of the most important things is just having a game that's worth playing, and it takes money to do that. It takes time and resources. So um, yeah, there's been a little bit of hold back on some things on the marketing front, but um, it's all going to pay off, and it's leading up to this marketing push once we actually have the game trailer and once we have the material to actually bring to market. So thank you for that. um, I'm also working on a YouTuber campaign. This is going to be something that is going to be an ongoing process. Instead of just paying for a YouTuber to do a couple videos, I want to incentivize a YouTuber to actually get out and enjoy the game. Those are things that maybe could include some beta testing, some things that they can showcase their viewers. I'm going to be very particular on who I choose. I've been going through countless different, content creators that were doing Axie that have since not played Axie, haven't been playing it. There's a lot of different people I'm in conversations with. So I think an ongoing relationship with some big time influencers is going to go a long way, and kind of get their channel dedicated to Sacred Tails. And that's not just going to happen on YouTube. That's also going to happen on Twitch. We're going to have sponsored streamers that are going to bring, Sacred Tails content. It might start with just a logo and a brief discussion about it until they can actually get in and play some of our testing. But we want to bring, awareness to just the gameplay itself. So that's some campaigns that I'm working on. Um, After relaunch, some marketing strategies are going to come into play. Then we're able to take advantage of some of these grant program opportunities. I have forms for days on my computer. Once we have a live contract, forms are being submitted. There's so many funds and grant opportunities out there for blockchain games, especially through Binance directly. Um, it would be foolish not to take advantage of those things. So we are ready to hop on the submissions. Um, and this is a big one. Josh and I have really been talking a lot about what we want to see as far as like a direction of I wouldn't funding, but just big things that we can do. And I think the IEO offering is an announcement that I think is huge. Um, Ted, the guy I spoke about earlier, has already sent me. He has a connection. I won't say the exchange, but he has a connection in there that he helped some other projects get on the launch pad to get an IEO, offering. So I have right now 3 different forms that I'm working on, doing. And then if you don't know what an IEO, that's just an initial exchange offering. So you're working hand in hand with exchanges, and it's acquiring funding to basically build liquidity to get put on major exchanges. Those are things that we are working on the back end, and I think it's definitely important, for you guys to hear those kind of things, because if it goes the way that I see it going, we're going to be seeing some not small exchanges. I'm talking some very large exchanges that are going to be very obtainable for us. And that was kind of when we were talking about Certek on why it's important, because only Certek projects have an opportunity like that. You got to pay the money to these big audit firms and get that stamp of approval, because tier 1 exchanges need to see that. Obviously there was some Axie Infinity had some data breaches. There's been games that have data breaches. So whenever a data breach happens like that, you get these exchanges that really tighten up their criteria, and as far as like your audit process, your back end stuff. There's always hackers. There's always people that are finding ways and adapting new ways to infiltrate contracts. And Certek is going to continue to stay with us on our contract, help monitor it. If we have issues, they're going to be there for us. So that is really big news for us. I think an initial exchange offering is going to be massive. So yeah, Josh, I think that was the big one that I was trying to
Absolutely.
hold in the whole
I'm
time,
just gonna
man.
add on to, I think, on the
Yeah.
IEO front, and let's be very straight and upfront here that we are not in discussions with tier 1 exchanges at the moment, like Binance. So please, give us ample time to get there. So we are currently in talks with some tier 2 exchanges. We're talking like top 10 tier 2 exchanges with huge volume. We have allocation of tokens ready for an IEO when and if we want to go down that route. I think it's something that's very, very exciting. Not only do we circumvent the listing fees that some of these marketplaces charge, we also provide that liquidity by doing so. So on our part, it's a win-win. We provide, we'll be providing an incredible amount of volume to the token. It will provide an incredible amount of publicity to the tokens. It's something that's really exciting. It's something we've been working on in private for a long time, and we're not going to obviously say any names or anything like that. We don't want to do anything like that until anything is signed on the dotted line. Everything's confirmed, of course, because
Absolutely.
in this space nothing is straightforward or easy, unfortunately. It requires hard work, dedication, and patience. And I think we are on track to really kind of start ticking off these boxes. We've got the DAO migration that I'm estimating and hopeful that we will be live next week at some point. It was my priority that I wanted to, hit that check mark of, Q2. We will do our best to do that if it's a couple of days afterwards. It's not a major deal, but it's not just that. That's the preparation. We also have our staking platform that's ready to go. We have our NFT launching minting platform that is currently being finalized as well. The staking and minting, of course, link with each other, where we have an allocation mainly, I'd say 50% allocation of the entire NFTs of the Shinsei going to the staking pools. So that will be a really nice incentive for people to, it will reduce circulating supply. It will bring a nice stable volume, an APY to holders, and I think that's really important. One thing also to touch on as well that I think we missed is, I think one of the key factors here is the smart tokenomics that we have in our systems in terms of cashing in and out of the game, buys and sells, etc. And what that means is that it gives an opportunity to investors that maybe aren't interested in the game side of things and are focusing on the profitable side of things. By giving reflections in and out of game, by making it so that the main source of revenue of people earning are through tournaments, through random loot boxes that you will be able to receive occasionally on matches. It's not a guaranteed allocation of tokens every match. That's just not the way it is. It depends on your elo, how well you do in a particular season. Season, it might be a week or whatever, but it's really going to reward people. And the problem that you see, and I know I could keep saying problems with current pay to earn games, but it's just that expectance on I should earn this and I should be getting this daily yield and this and that, and this is the problem, and this is where there's no clear distinction between gaming and blockchain, and there needs to be, and there isn't. And that is our priority. It's not about, we're not here to, just hand out our locked, our treasury to players, just for, one quick battle. There's many exploits that can happen with things like that. It's not a sustainable ecosystem. It has to be a fun game. It has to be, it has to really tick all of those boxes that AAA games do with, these high budgets. And one thing to bear in mind as well is that, the budget that we have had is like, honestly, I've seen projects with double, triple, even times 5 or times 6 the budget that we've had, and they've not produced anything like that. Look at Pixelmon with the Kevin memes going around. It was an absolute embarrassment. 70 million in funding, and that is what they produced. I would be sweating if I was that founder, to be honest, because I've read his interviews, and I'm pretty sure he's pretty scared that he's going to be done for fraud at some point, and I don't want to comment on that, but the point I'm trying to make is that we are so resourceful with our funds, and we always have been, and that is one of the key factors in terms of survivability, in terms of sustainability, in terms of just the general way that a company is run. And from the very start, we have run as a professional company. We have our staff, they don't ask for handouts. It's not the case. It's a passion project for all of our team. We're all on board in that sense. It's there's no I can't remember the saying, mercenaries. Like hired mercenaries kind of thing when you're hiring people. And you have to remember for teams to be built is one thing, but to have a team stick together through the ups and the downs, like we've had the same team for over a year in the crypto space. Like, we're all family. Like, we speak to each other hourly, and things like that. They might seem insignificant, but it's about that kind of trust that you have in your team, and that you see projects fail because teams fall out. As simple as that. These kinds of things happen. People have discrepancies about payments, and so it might seem kind of random that I bring this up, but this is all kind of part of the style and the way that we operate. And I think that's really important to stress, because what you've seen of us so far is the best example we can give of what you'll see of us in the future. And I really feel like we've nailed that on the head. I really feel like everything is I think we've built an amazing foundation, and I just cannot wait to be able to invite you all into the world of Sacred Tails and really show off what we're on about.
Yeah, absolutely. The sacrifices that we've made and we will continue to do, because this is a passion project. This isn't something that we expect to get rich immediately on, and we will sacrifice our time, our family's time, money, all for you guys to build the game that we vision and Josh visions. And I think just having you, lead the charge, not just for your knowledge of blockchain, but for the knowledge of video games. And that brings the passion, like we always talk about. When you grow up in the 90s and you have cartridges and you're lightheaded from blowing in them all day, those were the experiences that we love. And you want to bring the nostalgia of those games into blockchain, so these young kids can experience what we did when we were young, when life was simpler and games were fun.
It's not
And
to
I
say
think
that
that's
games
gonna go a long
aren't
ways.
fun anymore. Of course
They're
they
not,
are.
yeah, they're
But
just a little different from what we grew up on.
there's
And
just a simplistic beauty, isn't there, to that generation of
yeah,
games that we played, and I will never let that be forgotten. And I think it's a perfect example of how well Nintendo do with their games. They stay in their own lane. They're not there to compete with
exactly,
releasing the latest Call of Duty with the greatest graphics. Like, they see things differently
exactly.
in Nintendo, and that's why Nintendo are so incredibly amazing at what they do. And I would be lying if I was saying that Nintendo wasn't an inspiration of mine. It most definitely was.
Oh yeah,
Some of the best games in my life, some of the best memories of I've ever had playing games have been like Zeldas and Pokemon's and all sorts of stuff. And it's really just bringing that back to life and bringing it to a point where it can evolve and it can grow and it can flourish. And we want to plant that seed into what blockchain games should be. And I really think that when we really showcase what we've got to the world, that it's really going to start making people think differently. I think people are going to think,
absolutely.
we've been thinking about this the wrong way all this time. And you probably think of me, and I'll be honest, and I've never really opened up personally about this stuff, but in terms of a developer and finances, I have 2 projects and I have Hoardable, and I must be bringing in loads of money and I'm sorted, and my team know that is not the case. I have given every single ounce of everything that I have into the project. I've not taken anything out. I've put everything I've got into the project, and I think that's the difference that you see with other developers, is that it's for them, they just want to extract as much money out of you guys as possible,
Yeah,
and that is the fact. And I guarantee in at least 80% of the tokens you're invested in, there's probably an alter ego in the boardrooms, and they want to extract as much money out of you as possible at the end of the day.
exactly.
And whether they say that or not, or whether they know that's true or not, it's one thing, but it will show in the future. It will come, and it unfortunately will bite people. And this is why it's strange, because obviously I've come into crypto from a completely different kind of mentality. It's not been about I've had the opportunities to make enough money that I needed to and walk away.
Oh, yeah.
And I could have taken easy options, or I could have sold my tokens at 4 mil ATH on instinct. But no, it's currently at 500k market cap, and I've never sold a single token. And it's the people behind the project, and I'm kind of being a bit passionate about this right now, but it's because it is a passionate thing to me, and it really pisses me off, to be honest, because I know how hard we work. I know how much we care about our projects. I know our mentality. I know our vision. I know what we want in the future. And do you know what? I think it's really, 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 I think it's an absolute possibility. It's in touching distance for us. And I know it's going to happen for us. And why do I know that's going to happen for us? Because I know that I'm the founder, and I know that I'm the one putting that money in. I'm the one that's managing these finances. I know the team that are behind me, and yeah, there's some things that really need to change in crypto. Honestly,
No,
it
and
really,
it's
really does.
yeah. Well, we have the heart in it, and most projects don't.
That's it.
And that's it's sad. It's sad because cryptocurrency in general has taken this image, I think, to a lot of outsiders that are either leery about cryptocurrency or what they've heard is just it's a bunch of criminals and it's just a lot of bad people. And if you guys are in a Binance Smart Chain token like this, you've probably ran into some really bad people. And you're never going to escape the bad people. It's finding the ones that have the heart, that have the soul into making a project like this that you need to stand behind. And I'm not saying stand behind us because that's us, but that's what you're getting. And I think finding Josh a year ago was just a breath of fresh air because I was working with people that I'd never seen their face. I didn't know if they were going to go away tomorrow, if they were going to steal everybody's money, and
That's it,
it's
isn't
just
it?
it's fun. It's
Why should you
right.
go to sleep at night and worry? Oh, what are they going to do? I don't really know. I don't really know what they're like. I don't know. Is my money safe there? Can I invest there? Or I'm getting FOMO because the price is going up. Okay, I want to chuck some in, and then what happens? All of a sudden, we've all been involved in rugs and all of these things, and it's sickening. It really is sickening, and I very much hope that there are some changes in terms of people being held liable for what they do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that, and from the sentiment that I get from my holders and the people that we speak to, I don't feel that's ever been a concern. Like I've seen tokens before where they've stopped trading for a month, and it's absolute anarchy, chaos every day. You don't see
Absolutely.
that with Sacred Tails, and why? Because we've earned, I believe we've earned your trust, and it's yeah, it's
Yeah.
just really
It's
frustrating.
it's unfortunate, the events that happened that led up to, the contract being halted, and it wasn't easy for us to come up with that decision. Ultimately we were protecting somebody that's been with us since day one, but we already had the migration plan. You guys all know this. I don't want to rehash everything, but at the end of the day, Josh nailed it. We're not seeing tons of FUD. Occasionally, you'll get a guy that comes in that doesn't maybe he's not up to date on what's happening or he doesn't know. And you guys are great on just staying on top of like, hey, look, it's gonna be, as soon as the tasks are completed, your money's safe. Luckily, the market. I mean, when we started trading, I think BNB was somewhere around the $600 range. So currently, we're sitting what 236, something like that. So, call it three times less the value of our peg token, and we're have held a really nice position. I mean, if BNB was the same and we didn't go into a bear cycle, would be a 3x right now sustained. So those are things we can't control, and the market will change eventually. We don't have a crystal ball. Yesterday, we seen a little bit of a rally, a little bit of pullback today. I don't suspect things are really going to go into any kind of bull cycle anytime soon. I could be wrong because crypto does crazy things. BTC could go to 40K tomorrow. It could go to 15K tomorrow. But at the end of the day, and nothing changes our objective and our mission. Um, the in-game economy and everything that we're building is going to take care of itself. So rest assured that your money is safe and it always will be with us. We just can't control market conditions. If anybody is out there that's listening that maybe has some concerns or needs something, just let me know. I'll do my best to help out. Josh, I think there's one thing that we haven't talked about yet, and that is the NFT roadmap, kind of where you see, I know there's a few different talk points that you want to cover in the NFTs. I know a lot of people here are listening that want to grab these NFTs, and we have some news to bring you. So Josh, why don't you lead it in with some NFT talk?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we've completely finished the minting contracts. As I mentioned previously, we are finalizing the DApp for the minting as well. We have finalized we've got different backgrounds for the different elements. Everything is looking really, really nice. So in terms of what it will appear like on the marketplace itself, it's going to look amazing. There's going to be such a huge variety, obviously, as I've mentioned before. Not one Shinsei will be alike. They are completely unique. There's such a different variation of them, and we all know with NFTs and utility is the most important function of NFTs, and you see it over and over again in the Ethereum space with profile picture NFTs and etc. They're now trying to rebrand themselves as like clothing brands or whatever, and I think some of them will have success with it, some like 1% or less, and obviously we wish success to all projects, but the fact is that it's not just one project that's doing this. It's that they're all now clothing brands, or they're now all doing this, or whatever. It's like it's currently the NFT scene is currently going through like a rebellion phase with like NFT projects like GoblinTown.wtf and We're All Gonna Die, and they're like kind of like satire NFTs, where they're kind of taking advantage of pretty much the whole kind of NFT market kind of crashing, right? With Ethereum going below sub 1K at one point, and the main problem that you have with the flipping these NFTs is the lack of liquidity, which you don't have with, of course, normal tokens. So it might seem like you've got that value in terms of an NFT, but it can be very difficult to get that money back, especially the money that you feel your NFT is worth. And over again, we're seeing NFTs just being sold, as just to raise funds for whatever whatever they're up to. But the difference with us is that we literally have an incredible game. The Shinsei are already in the engine in game. We've shown you examples of that. You'll have your Shinsei following you around. It's integrated straight from the off. And we're providing utility straight away in terms of the rewards that you'll be able to earn, the tournaments that you'll be able to enter with your Shinsei. Of course, bearing in mind that the legacy Shinsei will enable you to jump into the beta before anyone else. Now, there is something that I actually want to kind of talk about this, and this is a prediction of mine that I think will happen. So, obviously, we're selling 3,000 Shinsei initially. Approximately around 250 of them are going to baby squid holders for holding and helping us to build to where we are now. We would never forget our roots. We never forget where we've come from, and we will honor everything that we've said we were going to do. Now, to add on to that as well, you need 3 Shinsei to play the game, to battle with. Now, what that means is, as we're selling 3,000, is that's 1,000 spots, technically. However, will people just buy 3? Probably not. People maybe will buy 4 or 5, or some people might even buy up to as many as they can, right? And what you will find, I think, is that when we go into the beta stage, there will be a bottleneck scenario where. What I mean by bottleneck, let me explain it, is that there will be the demand for Shinsei will outweigh the supply. Now, why will that happen? Because people will want to play the game. People will be talking about the game when it goes into beta. We'll have streamers talking about it, discussing it. Their followers will want to play the game, etc., etc. So this kind of marketing will snowball, especially with the kind of graphics that we're having and the style of play, the depth of the environment, the MMO aspect to it. It's exciting. You've not really seen this kind of this setup in the crypto space before, and I know there are other tokens building metaverses and etc., but this is, in my opinion, different from metaverse. It's crypto, MMO, a light MMO, with the crypto economy. It's something that's never really been done before, and this will speak 1,000 words, in my opinion, to people. People will want to come in, and by that time, the Shinseis will be minted. And apologies if you can hear my little boy is very upset. Sorry if You can hear that. But the point being is that people are going to come in and they're going to want to acquire these Shinsei so they can play. Now, what does that mean for the early adopters? That means the early adopters are going to be able to make very healthy profit on selling the Shinsei. So, obviously, I would never give financial advice, but financial advice by Shinseis is going to be a very valuable investment, I believe, because I think that we are very much limiting the initial player base to maximum of 1,000, and I predict probably 500-600 holders for the 3,000 NFTs, just on going off kind of averages of general collections and how many when you have a collection of 6,000, you don't have 6,000 owners. It's normally around 2,000 or 2,500. So I think there's going to be a very profitable environment for people in terms of that as well. So that's exciting, and that initially, essentially, I believe you should be able to, if you mint 6 Shinsei, you should be able to sell the other 3 at least double what you've paid for. I would imagine it could be more. Who knows? It really depends on the floor prices, the activity, the press that it gets, the combination with Hoardable that's going live. So yeah, I think it's really, really exciting, and the way that we've structured it is so that we really, really value our early investors. We don't forget about them. They are a priority. They're going to be the only people that are going to be able to play this game initially for maybe the first 3 or 4 weeks while we are in beta. So I think, that's a really exciting thing to mention. Now, I think before we leave, Dustin, I think we should give a little sneak peek into Hoardable a bit more, as we're about 3.5 weeks away from moving into the beta of Hoardable officially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my Adobe XD file. Obviously, it's in live development as we speak, but I'd like to be able to kind of show you guys a little bit more into the kind of in-depth level that we've gone to with Hoardable, and all of the additions that we're excited to share. So yeah, with further ado, I will open that up. Can you guys all see the grid okay? Could you let me know in the chat that it's visible? Well, I'm going to assume that it's visible. Can you guys see the grid okay? Okay, good. Right, so as you can see with an NFT marketplace, you don't quite see the level of detail that goes into it. You see the finished product, right? But what you have here is you have all of the different intricate parts of it. All the different tables, even down to a message saying, you have successfully purchased this NFT. All of these things have to be developed. Now, I'm going to start off and show you the homepage to start with. You guys have seen it before, but I want to give you a more kind of interactive view of it. Bear in mind there might be delays when I hover over things. This is because this is the Adobe file, not the developed file. So yeah, it's a really nice kind of homepage that we've got. What is interesting here is this NFT here. This will actually be the highest sold NFT of the day before. So it's a nice way, if you were the winner of that, it will be showcased to everyone that uses Hoardable, which I think is a really nice kind of bonus system if you have purchased the most expensive NFT of the day. So we're going to go to another one that I think is really exciting as well, and it's the profile page. So this is the user profile page. We've completely kind of redesigned it to give a really kind of nice hub for people to share their NFTs, etc. So we've got some very luxury items here that I just want to talk to you through. So obviously we've got the profile, we've got the activities page, which I'll show you in a minute. Now what you see here is our featured page. Funnily enough, OpenSea have actually released something in the past week, which is featured items, and we have been working on featured items for over a month and a half now. So I kind of see it as a compliment that we're on the same track as people, such as OpenSea with the huge development budgets that they've got. And I personally think that our profile page looks way better.
Absolutely, man.
What you see here, these are 3 NFTs. These will be hopefully moving. We need to obviously have discussions with our engineers on that. What you'll be able to do is you'll be able to select your top favorite 3 NFTs to showcase on your profile page. Very simple, really nice integration to have, and it just gives that kind of more personal touch to people, and I think that's really what's kind of missing at the moment. So yeah, hope you guys like that. We've got a really nice kind of clear tab system. Please don't bear in mind of this. This is obviously not development, this is design, so it makes no difference. So yeah, that's our profile page. We've got another example of our profile page. This is when we were experimenting with the different holograms. So this is like a 3 set, but I believe that we are finalizing with our master plan, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, I think that looks.
So yeah.
And if you guys, I'm sorry for cutting you off, Josh.
No,
if you guys know of a NFT marketplace that looks better than this, please send it to me, because I've looked at many of them, and I think Hoardable is just revolutionary as far as eye appeal, and the whole goal and concept was creating kind of like a Steam marketplace for gaming projects, and you got to have appeal. You're buying NFTs, and people are spending hard-earned money on NFTs. You expect the marketplace to be up to the standard of what NFTs are, and you can just see the care and the development of this. And look at the stats page. I mean,
So this is where
they absolutely nailed it. They went above and beyond and absolutely nailed this marketplace.
So you've got
And the beautiful
lovely
thing
Zenny
is,
from Instinct.
yeah.
Bear in mind, if you see some Latin right now, this is the development side of things, so you keep it in Latin. You don't bother with the actual text here. Blah blah blah. Privacy policy. So this is our add your custom token. So this is where we can onboard projects to come onto Hoardable. We can actually have their tokens accepted as currency for their token. So that's really exciting. Make a suggestion, connect your wallet. So just like things like this, I mean, people don't really think about this, but this needs a screen, right? This needs this to build the level of marketplace that we're going for. It's really, and I think I love this. I love the collections page as well. I think this is really nice. Be really exciting when we have lots of more projects on there. Obviously, when we have our launch pad live for Hoardable as well, we'll be able to launch projects live from raising pre-sales through Hoardable for gaming projects as well. So that's something that's going to be really exciting, and then they'll automatically be able to go through into the Hoardable ecosystem. So this is like a search results page. Connect your wallet. This is obviously just like filter systems. I mean, a lot of this stuff you'll probably recognize from other marketplaces, but it's the level of detail, it's the level of luxury that we're really, I think that we're really pushing for. It's very heavy loading, so bear with me on the delay here.
It's coming to fruition, and it's a nice breath of fresh air, I think, for this space to have a marketplace like Hoardable. It's going to gamify these projects, because that's what the industry really lacks is tailored to the gamer itself and gaming projects.
Absolutely.
You just look at the stats and just the eye appeal that this is going to bring. Super excited.
The home page, ignore that. This is a user profile page. This is going to be a lot more in depth after version 1. Yeah. For now, obviously, it's a unique user ID, so no one will be able to have yours. Yeah. So make sure you get on there as soon as possible to get your ID. If you don't want numbers after your name. Yeah, just like so. I mean, this kind of isn't
better
super
not be
exciting.
Any Dustins listening to this and getting on before me. I'm very upset.
It's okay. I will manually make sure that you have Dustin number 1. Yes. Okay. So yeah, we're kind of just going over some stuff that we've seen now, but let's go back. So this is an activity page, so you'll be able to, for example, track people's history of what they've done, if they've listed, what they've bought, if they've sold. Maybe there is a specific trader that you like, that seems to be doing really nice flips profit wise. This gives you an incentive to be able to kind of track them and kind of jump on board with them as well, which is always nice to do. Now, one thing I wanted to go over, and I'll go back to the profile page to finalize that, is this here. Now, let me explain. You've got big NFT marketplaces like, for example, Looks Rare. Now, personally, not a huge fan of them because there's a lot of rumors that they faked volume on launch, and I'm pretty sure that's been proven. However, they don't have things like this, the hidden folder. Now, why would that be helpful to you? If you can bear in mind, when Hoardable is obviously live and kicking, we've got lots of projects going. If, for example, you are someone with lots of nice NFTs, what you'll find is people will probably try and spam send you like fake NFTs or copies or clones, or all sorts of advertisements, even things like leaflets that you would be given in a street. They do the same kind of format with NFTs as well. So you'll be able to hide NFTs that you don't want people to see, that that you disregard as yours, kind of thing. So it's giving you that nice kind of user interface. And also it can protect you and other people as well, because the last thing that you want to do is have any kind of involvement. If you're someone notable in the NFT industry, for example, you have lots of NFTs, and you want to be able to make sure that other people that are coming onto your profile don't accidentally click a link and mint something, or do you know what I mean? There's plenty of avenues for people to take advantage of people, and that's why we have dived into the NFT scene. I've myself been in like up and coming NFT projects just because I want to experience that, and it was from my point of view, it was from a business perspective, because I want to go through that entire experience that you guys will be going through soon. And I wanted to experience it myself, the bits that I enjoyed, the bits I didn't enjoy. And what that did for me is that enabled me to improve on things that I think were lacking in my experience, and replicate things that I thought was really exciting. And like, for example, one of the things I think is so exciting is, let me just go onto the collections page, 1 second. Hopefully this will load for us now. Fingers crossed. Probably not going to, because I said that. Okay, I'm going to talk about it anyway, even though it's not on the page. Is obviously we've got the like floor prices and things like that as well. So when you do mint your Shinsei, there will be like a floor price for the Shinsei. Obviously, it will be in BUSD, because that's where we're doing with our sales. But you'll be able to accurately see like the lowest floor prices. So it's a very strong possibility that the very lowest grade of a Shinsei, if you got the very lowest kind of tiers and stats, that you should at least be able to sell it for the price that you paid for it, with the bottleneck kind of scenario that we're hoping for as well. And also to bear in mind that the legacy trademark of Shinsei is very important, because there is a very finite amount of legacy Shinsei, and there will be a lot of other Shinsei and regular Shinsei coming out as the game progresses. So the more time that passes with these legacy Shinsei, I would definitely recommend to hold on to some of them, because in 6 months from now, legacy Shinsei are going to be like gold dust. Like if you've got 100,000 people playing the game, which obviously would be amazing, and you've got only 6,000 legacy Shinsei in total, that's a very minuscule amount compared to the people that are playing, right? So I think there's a nice ample opportunity for people to make some quick profits on the Shinsei flipping, and also in the long term as well, which is always nice to be able to offer both of those to people. But yeah, that's I think that's it from me today.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to bring our cameras back onto the screen here.
Absolutely.
Because there's a loading screen on Twitch currently, which is for now.
Yeah. Okay. Right. We're back.
Wrap up. It has been a little bit longer of an AMA, so hopefully you guys digested some of the news. We are constantly working. Obviously, this is some big times for us as we're prepping for our the DAO relaunch and the NFT sales. So we are working daily on the back end to make sure that everything goes as smooth as possible. Obviously, the market conditions are something that's uncontrollable, but at the end of the day, blockchain games are in its infancy and they're only going to grow stronger, and we're going to go stronger. We appreciate everybody that's been here at the AMA. I know there's, not as many people in here as we usually see. We're going to go ahead and get this on YouTube and, branch out and market this AMA, because I do feel like there's a lot of important details that we covered. Hopefully you guys grab some of these announcements and made notes. I think we'll go ahead and have a community member, or I can post kind of the key points that we covered here. Like always, guys, we appreciate you a ton. We wouldn't be here doing this without you guys, and we're going to always remember the people that were here early, because in a few years Sacred Tails is going to be a massive community, and there's no doubt in my mind with the hard work and heart and dedication that we're putting into this. So thank you, Josh, for your time today in this AMA with us. We always enjoy doing them. The next one will probably be in preparation for the DAO relaunch, just to kind of cover the bases on what we're going to accomplish, to make sure that we can support the buy pressure as much as humanly possible. But at the end of the day, we're here to build a game, and we're here for you guys. So thank you so much. Josh, is there anything else that you would like to add before we go ahead and close it
Oh,
up?
I better not. It's been an hour and a half. I'm sure
Yeah,
people have got a lot of
I
things
gotta,
they want to go and do.
yeah, we gotta
So,
probably use the bathroom. So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. We are, always open. If you have any questions, concerns, feel free to contact us, community members. Thank you all for your support. Until next time, guys, we'll see ya.
take care.